Hello everyone. This is the second of the videos that I'm doing to illustrate how to use my book. And last week we were working on the very simple energy of the Douglas fir, which was the I am. And now we're getting into something that's far more complex, because we're getting into the we are. So this is very exciting, and I actually have come into the space that's full of far more creativity. This is my studio, whereas before I was showing you a much more empty space, which kind of fitted with the energy that we were dealing with, the pure masculine divine. I just wanted to quickly just go back to how to use this book, just to illustrate a bit more. Some people are using it just for meditation, because maybe you just clicked on this and you don't know what I'm talking about. So it's a tool that you can just look into, choose a mandala, and then get meditating on it and read all about it. Some people are choosing 3 of them, one that they like, one they don't like, and one that they think balances the whole wheel. You can choose from here. And that is extremely powerful. So that's one way of doing it, but we're not doing that with this particular series. What I really want to show you is how you can start from the very beginning and kind of come through. In the beginning was the thought, so you're just coming from that very divine energy down, spiraling down into the self, through your inner body, your soul. You're incarnating into your inner body, and we'll see that as we move out through the wheel, and we'll be kind of spiraling between masculine and feminine. And that's why it's useful, because what we're going to be looking at is how to play with these energies and how to appropriate them, and look at them and observe them, so they'll become very useful for us. Okay, so we did start with this lovely clean, clear one, which was male energy. And now we're going into the egg of life. So this is masculine and this is feminine. This is another way of looking at it. Actually, I've got a few ways of you just to look at it, just to begin with. So there you go. That pure, clean, crystalline energy. And then this more warm, golden energy coming from Earth. And that's really what we're made up of. Seems so simple, but actually it's actually really complex, as we'll soon find out. Okay, so I kind of wanted to illustrate this a bit more, and I thought it'd be quite fun to do it with the hats. What we looked at last week, to me, in a hat, looks like this. And also, I think if you're kind of somebody that loves cinema, you may have seen something like the Interstellar movie. And there's a fantastic bit with the Hans Zimmer music, and it's all crashing around, and then you suddenly get this beep like that. And that sums up to me this incredibly powerful, extremely clean, very clear, forceful, but very, very, very precise energy of the masculine, divine masculine, scintillating and beautiful. So on the other hand, what I think sums up women's, kind of not women, but yin energy, is this. This is my favourite hat, obviously. I love this hat. Everyone knows it because I'm always wearing it. But this, take the glass, no, that won't do, is divine feminine. It sums it up so brilliantly. I've got my glasses caught in there. And this, it's kind of a different kind of music. This would be the Amazon jungle, noisy kind of floribundance of life, buzzing of bees. It's kind of extremely fertile and abundant, wonderful energies. So we're looking at these. These are how this is what we've come from, and this is how we're going to move forward. Okay, so that's really good fun. I like that. Now, what I did next was just to slightly illustrate this better. was to show you just an overview of how I see, and it's very much this is how I've worked through with my book. So I see us coming from source, and then we're into the drop of divine male energy, and then you've got the round there coming, the egg, and then it's going to come down into, you start getting the circles overlapping, and you get the tree of life, the seed of life, the flower of life. You get all this coming up, and that's what we'll be working towards. I just thought it was important to show you this because, you know, it's got to make sense. You've got to begin to feel this wonderful spiral of life and see how we come up and how we are part of it, and begin to really get it, you know, part of you. If you feel it in you, then you can use these energies. Okay, so now, so this is the next diagram. So this is, which I can't even see on there. Okay, so we were in the divine, just on our own, coming from divine masculine. In the beginning was the word, purity, clarity, and unity. And then now we've split into two. It's a bit rude, but anyway, I think it's quite fun. But it's not that simple. We don't just split into two complete balls like this, like just complete, you know, we actually, what happens, they're not separate. You see, with that, there would be no relationship, and therefore there would be no life. And that's the important thing, is working out that we're spiraling down, but we're creating relationships. And that's what's so precious. That's where the actual beauty of life is. So what really happens is this. So that's why I call it the egg or the seed. So you've got the egg, and then you've got the masculine joining with the feminine. And this is the beginning of life, the Big Bang. You know, I'm not a scientist, but I'd love people to explain it to me, but I'm not sure I'd necessarily understand it. But anyway, I'm sorry, this is going to be a long video because this is so beautifully complex, and it's where everything happens, as you can see. So here in the middle, you've got the joining of male and female, and you've got the Vesca Pisces coming up. And this is the very sacred, this is where the magic happens. And obviously we're in the area of sexuality, procreation, creativity, and all this comes up in this one mandala. The two sides, the beginning of seeing the other person, and how does that balance in our bodies and in our minds? How do we perceive the other? You know, do we join with them? Are we allowing for that to happen in our lives, this magical abundance? Or are we, you know, so we'll see. We're going to explore this mandala more, which is really exciting. But as you can see, if you do get it right, which we all do to a certain extent, lots of things, exciting things can happen. Okay, so what did I do with it? That's always a good bit. So first of all, I thought, well, I'll go back to doing what I did with the first one in the first series, which was to do a snapshot of where I am. So I just looked at the round, I copied round the diagram of the egg, and then I just drew into it, and I just painted. I just experienced what I was experiencing, having read the book about male, female, procreation. You know, obviously I know this because I mean I've written the book, so I would possibly know what I'm talking about. But anyway, every time I do it, it's different. So this time I looked at it and I thought, how do I feel about my male, female inside me and what I'm living with my lovely boyfriend? So I just went ahead and painted it. And actually I was really thrilled to see. I mean, it's looking quite good. So we've got the fire, the passion. You can see the exciting bit there, and then you've got all this lovely abundance of nature, the flowers there, watered, there's plenty of water around, that's great, and then you can see the hearts growing out of it, and there's lots of growth, and it's quite balanced, and there's a kind of vibrancy to it, so I was really thrilled with this. There's still a little bit of something going on there. I don't know if you can see that brown colour, and what's interesting on an art therapy level is in my earlier mandala, which I did on the first one, you can see here there was something to work on. How interesting. I've actually brought it back into this one, totally from my intuition. Nothing, I haven't said, oh, I've got a problem here, I need to draw this. No, it just, out it comes. That's good. That's where the is, and that's where you can really have some fun. Okay, so I'd done that. So I'd done the kind of beauty of life. Then as I was reading that, of what I'm doing now, I understood from the book, it says to be aware of your old relationships and maybe you need to cleanse them. And that is important. So I thought, well, I'll go back, because I actually have had a lot of relationships in my life, which is quite typical of creative people. They are overabundantly loving and they'll kind of try again and again. But what's interesting about that is it actually it does weigh on it takes energy from you. And the shamans are very, they feel you should actually clean this energy. So sexual energy should be cleaned. So I thought, right, I'm going to look into this little problem here. This is what we saw, this kind of old stuff going on. And actually you can almost see there's a relationship thing going on there, there's little bubbles. And I thought, right, it's time to really cleanse this out now. And so now we're going to use the mandala, or art therapy, as a kind of cleansing tool. Okay, so I thought, right, I'm going to put all my relationships, everything in there, into this one mandala. And boom, this is how it looked. Okay. It's not looking quite so healthy, is it? And this has got no relationship to do with my relationships. It's purely how I've lived and learned, and there has been a lot of sadness sometimes and many tears, you know. But there's been fabulousness too. I mean, you know, you can see there hasn't been a boring life. But it's taken its toll. So it's time to put some healthy boundaries, recognize what a very, very powerful energy this is, and say thank you to all these different relationships. So I can draw them in, I can get annoyed with them. Expression is a fantastic thing. I can see where it hurt. I can feel how it's come into me and taken bits of me. Perhaps I've given away my power when I shouldn't have done. That's a biggie. It's been coming up for me a lot recently too. And so it's time to claim it back. And what I've done here is really use this as that kind of tool. I've drawn each one. These to me are different relationships. This is how it's pressed in on me, taken my energy, deflated me a bit. But then there's been lots of luminosity as well, and experience, and I've learnt so much from it. So what I would do next actually is I would then, having drawn this, I would then say thank you to all these people in my life. I would actually write down everything that they've given me, everything that I've learned. And some of the hardest relationships have given you the best learning. You know, how to make boundaries, how to stand up to yourself, how to be clear, to take steps to be strong and not to be fearful, which actually these videos are doing for me. So that's cool. So yes, this one is going to be burnt, and that is incredibly powerful. How exciting. So that is one way of using it. I will burn that later, by the way. So now, what do I have to tell you? So then I thought, yeah, okay, well, this is getting all a bit painterly for people. You know, they're seeing a lot of painting. Why don't we just do something where most people, anybody could use the mandalas? So I thought, well, let's go back to vision boards and you know, getting things out of magazines, or even writing. You needn't have to, you can scribble, you know, what does male, female energy mean to you? It's very interesting where you put the words. I mean, I see, if things are at the top, I just see them more linked to the head, to the crown, to the spirit. If they're lower down, to me, they're linked to the ground. But how do you feel? It's all about what you feel and how it works for you. Okay, so yes, this is another version, and I thought you might be inspired by this, because I really want you, I mean, it'd be great if people could actually be sending me back, hey Lou, so I did this with this mandala and it helped me because of that, or you know, I'm struggling with this, you know, please do send in what you're doing with them. I'd be thrilled to hear, really I would. Yeah, so that's the other one. And I thought you might enjoy doing that as well. Okay, and at the very end, I just wanted to play around with really looking at I just think I just wanted to have fun, so I just painted another couple of images of male and female energies. I just wanted to feel them, and you see, every time I go in there and I have to think about it and paint it, or I connect with it in any way. What I'm doing is I'm looking at this energy holographically from all different angles, and I'm allowing it to absorb into myself, and I'm creating new neural pathways. So that's really cool. And actually, my inner mandala, you know, it may have been a bit squished down. I'm actually pushing it out and healing it. And you know, we're working with this inner child. That's why it's all so sweetly naive and kind of childish. But it's very powerful. Please don't underestimate it. And I think that's the future of where we're going. Just have fun with things. I do, obviously. Anyhow, did I have anything exciting for you? Joy, observation? I wrote it all down. Burn it. Yes. So, yes, I just want to leave you with that picture of the golden, beautiful, divine female energy. But it's not female, it's yin energy. And I'd love you just to play with it and send me any of your things that you've done. Anyway, take care. The next one we're going to be dealing with is the tripod of life. So we're going into 1, 2, 3, and that is another very spicy, powerful one. So we'll look at that next time. Anyway, take care. Thanks very much. Bye, everyone.